I would say the opposite of emotional intelligence, I would say, is emotionally unaware. People
Okay.
that are just, they're not even aware of, because there's the four components of emotional intelligence. There's the self-awareness and self-management, and then there's relational awareness, and then relationship management. Okay, so I've seen some people like me that was just not aware of feelings and emotions at all. I just didn't even know that world existed. Then there's some people that I've seen that are very self-aware, but are not at all others aware. And then I've seen some people that are very others aware, but not at all self-aware.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I've seen, and then there's the dynamic of folks that are self-aware, but can't self-manage. They can't lead themselves at all. But they can identify their emotions, they can identify their feelings, but are completely controlled by them. And they're not able to lead themselves effectively to your point, to optimize their life. They're ruled by their emotions and feelings.
Welcome to the EQ for Entrepreneurs podcast. Like most business owners, you already know you need good business and marketing strategies to scale and be profitable. But at some point, you've hit the dreaded wall where you feel stuck and frustrated. EQ for Entrepreneurs is for business owners and leaders who are honest enough to admit that they just might be the ones holding their business back and are brave enough to change that.
We're Noble and Kathy, and every week we're having candid conversations about all things emotional intelligence and how growing that has allowed us to get out of our own way and is radically transforming both our businesses and our personal lives. This is the secret sauce strategy for modern entrepreneurs who are tired of hustling without seeing results and want to grow a business and a life that they love.
Welcome, entrepreneurs, leaders, and influencers, to this episode where I have an opportunity to interview a fascinating young man, 28 years old, originally from the UK. We discuss some really interesting questions and topics like what is the opposite of emotional intelligence and what makes an emotionally whole person. Alex shares some fascinating insights and is also one of the founding members of our EQ for Entrepreneurs membership community. If you're interested in having us speak to your organization or even military unit about emotional intelligence, please email us at info@eqforentrepreneurs.com. Thank you so much for rating, reviewing, and subscribing to our podcast and YouTube channel. We look forward to helping you navigate the emotional journey of running your business and running your life. Enjoy the episode.
Alex, great to see you, man.
It's an absolute pleasure, Noble.
Alex, how did you hear about this whole, everything that we're doing?
Through Dallas and Lisa. They were like, check out what the Gibbons are doing. And then I've just been going through all your podcasts, and then I truly believe in upgrading what's between my ears, and like what you guys have been doing. It's the future, and it's fascinating, and I've got a thirst to learn, and it's just like there's so much in it, and that's why like I've got so many questions, and it's so cool. So yeah, it's been amazing so far. And when you were like, hey, we're gonna do this founders thing, I was like, get me in here. What is going on? Give me the skinny.
That's great, Alex. And what's your background? Tell me your story, Alex.
Yeah. So originally from the UK, I was brought up in London. I went traveling about 7 years ago, had a round the world ticket, fell in love with New Zealand, lived there for 2 years, came to Australia, did farm work, had so many chapters of my life, traveled down the East Coast and landed in Melbourne, fell into my current job because it was a stepping stone to stay in the country. And now my permanent residency coming in, and I'm just conquering a lot of fear lately. So just go into the next stage. And I think like, especially talking emotions is quality. So yeah, that's a quick overview of 28 years.
That's great. Why are you wanting to go on this journey, and why have you been on this journey? How do you see this helping you out?
For me, when I was growing up, so I was aware of illnesses. And so I studied it from a young age. And then my dad, he's like a really strong Roman Catholic, so very traditional mindset. And then there's me, some artsy kid that loved, I went from rugby to dance and then back to rugby and then started Muay Thai. And then it would be like loads of different, and then went to university, started my MMA journey then. And then I've just gone with, I've learned that toxic masculinity. I've learned a lot of stuff, and I've been on my own mind journey for the past 2 years. So seeing specialists to just understand, but now I'm at a point where I want to increase my personal equity to help many, many other people around me. And I know that you heal others and that heals yourself. So for me, it's like I've got a whole list behind me. Like these are all like my emotional board and like all about feelings and stuff like that. And so I'm constantly learning, because I know that you have to conquer. Like I'm doing fear work at the moment. I've done a lot of thought work. Basically it's to optimize my life. I'm 28 years old now, and I'm coming up to a point that I want to change, but I am aware. And then I am working on, so I love all the stuff that you guys have, and I've read some of the books, and I've got the list up on my wall that I'm getting through of, I think it was episode 28 or something. Kathy sent a list, and so I've been loving that. For me, it's to optimize my life to be more in tune. And I know that you can rewire, and you can definitely shape your future, and just to be emotionally present. So I do the whole Urban Myers above the line, pause, play. I'm aware of emotions, and I try and name the emotion, and I do leaves on the stream work. I've done like loads of the thought stuff. But for me, it's just to optimize. Like I studied attachments from a young age because of my mum's presence. So I would understand why other people, okay, so why is your mum like that? And then I had a lot of nurturing from many, many women that was beautiful, and I'm very thankful. And then when I went traveling, I started like investigating other humans. I was like, so what's your story? And I'd always being very inquisitive. And so I've always like learned from that about humans, and it fascinates me. But what fascinates me more is helping people. And I know that I have to help myself to help others. And so I'm on this huge journey, and it's just what you're doing is incredible. And, definitely like, what would you say is the opposite of emotional intelligence? Because that's something that I keep talking about, but people that aren't very conscious, and they're like, hey, would you call them unemotionally intelligent? Would you call them emotionally unintelligent? Like, is there a word that you know of?
That's a great question, Alex. And I love your story. And I can't wait to hear more and unpack some of that stuff. Because I think there's a lot there. It's amazing how much of our emotional framework comes from our childhood. And I would argue almost all of our framework comes from our childhood, right? And so, just kind of your experience like that gives a big window into your journey. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I would say the opposite of emotional intelligence, I would say, is emotionally unaware. People that are just, they're not even aware of, because there's the 4 components of emotional intelligence. There's the self-awareness and self-management, and then there's relational awareness, and then relationship management. Okay, so I've seen some people like me that was just not aware of feelings and emotions at all. I just didn't even know that world existed. Then there's some people that I've seen that are very self-aware, but are not at all others aware. And then I've seen some people that are very others aware, but not at all self-aware. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I've seen, and then there's the dynamic of folks that are self-aware but can't self-manage. They can't lead themselves at all. But they can identify their emotions, they can identify their feelings, but are completely controlled by them. And they're not able to lead themselves effectively to your point, to optimize their life. They're ruled by their emotions and feelings. What does success look like for you in this journey?
It means understanding, like one of my other questions was going to be like what the top qualities are to investigate, or what a continuous journey. So just to continue on the emotional intelligence to help label, but knowing that we're a soul having an earthly experience, that I'm like, okay, so a lot of my emotional work is to learn how I can help other people. Like I would say, I love what you were saying about those four, that they're all interrelated, because I do a lot of self-compassion work. I try and work on myself because I'm a recovering people pleaser. I'm a recovering self-jeopardizer. I'm a recovering ADD, like as in approval addiction disorder, like all of these things that I'm currently aware of and growing through. So a success to me would be a man that can stand on his 2 feet. The problem is probably similar to you, Noble, that I sometimes stick my mind in the other person's mind, and then it jeopardizes my own energy. And I'm thinking, like, I used to be at a point where I was in it was a bit of a toxic friendship group, but I'd bring like enough stuff for everybody, and then like it'll get down to my final piece and I'll give it to someone else, and it's like, why did you do that, dude? Like, because you planned, but I'd already brought extra for so many people, but then they all jump on the train, and it's like, oh, so success to me is a man who is emotionally aware. I don't want to recognize myself in a year from now. I want to be like, who's this dude? Like each week I'm putting on YouTube what I'm learning, like from what I'm reading. I'm averaging a book a week, and I'm just trying to upgrow everything in between those 2 years. So for me, success is somebody who can make impact on this planet. So in a year from now, knowing that it's going to be a journey, it's not 1 year. 1 year from now, I would love to, success for me is to be more, understand a breakdown of emotions, because they intertwine with a lot of things, and I know the body can hold emotion as well. So just being more harmonious and being more fulfilled, I'd say.
That's excellent. With that level of intention, I have no doubt that you're gonna arrive at the destination because of your level of intention. So I have a 5-fold mission statement: to positively impact millions of people for the kingdom of God, to positively influence the influencers, to raise the next generation to be patriotic world changers, to love the Lord their God for their heart, soul, mind, spirit, strength, and body, and to help hungry people identify and pursue their purpose in life. And you are that number 5, right? To help hungry people identify and pursue their purpose in life. I asked myself, kind of in this journey, one of the questions was, God, who did you call me to? Who, right? Because you can't serve everybody. You can't.
Yeah.
Everyone cannot be your ministry, right? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like you got to focus. And so, and as a people pleaser, that's tough. Because I want to help everybody. I want to help the everybody. I want to help everybody. I mean, I want to help them all. And it's like, I don't have the physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual bandwidth to do that, to be it. So based on that, what is Noble's highest and best use, right? What is Alex's highest and best use? And for me, in asking myself that question, what is my highest and best use? And then asking myself, what type of person gives me the most joy and energy? What type of person gives me the most joy and energy? And then another question is that we have been pondering and working through is, who brings the best out of me, and who do I bring the best out of? And that number 5, it's hungry people. That's my people. That is my, hungry, humble, smart, appreciative leader, entrepreneurs and stuff. And so anyway, I'm excited, Alex, because the work you've already done, the work you're doing, and I'm excited. What I'm super excited about, just knowing also what you shared there in terms of your passion, is I'm excited about all the people that are going to get blessed and impacted and changed as a result of your own personal growth and change.
I love that. And all of that sits with me I love your 5 qualities, and that's a good mantra to live by, and all this. And I completely agree with all your statements, especially about bandwidth, and that's your energy at the end of the day. So it's a very good way, and I'm very blessed to have connected with you and all of this. Like, what would you say? Because I know it's a continuous journey, but like, what do you feel makes an emotionally a wholesome EQ person?
Well, okay, so here's one expectation, I guess, that was new for me, because I'm only a few years into this journey. I mean, honestly, it sounds like you've been on this journey longer than I have, since you started doing some of this research as a kid, right? Based on your family dynamic. And so there's probably a lot that I can't wait to learn from you in your journey, that you've already learned that I have not learned yet. But our counselor, he's a 66, 67-year-old guy. And I asked him, I said, man, how long have you been doing this? Because it's unbelievable, dude. The level of, man, the level of presence and awareness that this guy has is like, I mean, it was unbelievable sitting down with this guy. So I asked him, I said, hey, how long have you been doing this? He's like, oh man, I've been doing this for 30, 40 years. And I said, how many hours do you feel you have counseling people? He said, 25,000 hours, easy. So you think about the level of expertise and the rhetorical level of just, his level of understanding and da-da-da. Well, anyway, so he said something that I was not expecting, and it really helped to set and manage my own expectations of my personal journey. He said, because he had a rough childhood, which, again, not surprised that he became a counselor, right? That's kind of how some of that stuff happens, right? And so anyway, he had a very rough childhood, some really jacked up stuff in his life. And he said, Noble, he's like, dude, I'm 66. I've got 25,000 hours of this stuff under my belt, and I am still working on my emotions. I'm still on my journey. And I just thought, this guy's Bruce Lee, the emotional Bruce Lee. And I'm like, this guy is the emotional Helio Gracie. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you're still drilling, like you're still rolling, you're still, you know what I mean? And he's like, dude, absolutely. He's like, man, there's still, and that's the dynamic of emotions. Like, sometimes that stuff is repressed, and some, based on the amount of trauma, some of it is hidden, some of it is repressed, suppressed, all that stuff. And it may not pop up for a year or 5 years or 2 years, and it comes in waves and, all that stuff. Anyway, so an emotionally whole person is somebody that, I would say it's somebody that is fully present and fully aware, again, not only of your own self, but also of others, with healthy emotional boundaries. So I am fully comfortable being me, and I'm fully comfortable with you being you, and I'm fully comfortable with not allowing you to cross, violating my boundaries, and I'm fully comfortable with me not violating any of your boundaries. There's total presence, there's total respect, there's total awareness, there's total empathy, and the ability to lead. And so now based on that awareness, to be able to use the signals and the messages coming from our emotions in a way that leads to increased productivity. In fact, in the 360 movement personal growth tribe, that's, I don't know if we're on that yet or not, but anyway, okay, cool. In there, last year, we had a guy speak on the flow state. Have you heard of the book, The Rise of Superman?
No.
Oh, Alex. Oh, man. Alex. Bro. You want to talk about optimizing your life, bro.
I love any recommendations. And the whole flow, that's an unreal mindset. This is unbelievable. Like you two are like going to be changing a lot of the world. Like I don't know too much if there's like loads out there. I know there's certain stuff and there's people that talk about this, but it's more, I don't know if there's ever been courses or stuff that like this information is pretty impressive. And a lot of people like aren't even aware about, after this whole isolation, like mental health will have a different stigma. Like there's going to be more acceptance and will toxic masculinity start to fluctuate? I don't know, but like this is like next level. And I loved it where Kathy was saying in one of the podcasts that, emotional intelligence is in one of the top 10 skills to flourish, but then like another 6 are under emotional intelligence. I was like, that's incredible. And so, I'm very blessed that you shared like what you're going to be doing. It's very, very impressive.
That's great, Alex. Well, thank you so much. And please, please, like, let's keep, collaborating and connecting and that kind of stuff, because I know that you have got a lot to add and contribute to this topic, to the community that we're going to be putting together, but also I know to us. I can't wait to learn and glean from your insights as well. And I totally appreciate your time, Alex. And you made my day, dude. I'm so excited to continue to get to know you, brother.
Thanks so much for knowledge sharing. And it's been an absolute pleasure. Like it's awesome. And I appreciate you and your family and everything that you're doing. It's incredible. It's beautiful. And I look forward to the future. I'm buzzing for this journey and excited. It's like, I very much am very thirsty for knowledge and growth, and like your stories that you share. And I'm just very thankful. So thank you very much for your time.
We look forward to helping you navigate the emotional journey of running your business and running your life.